We ought to bake a sunshine cake. It does more good than a big thick steak.
Hi, it's Jill and you're watching ThermoHow, Thermo Mixing Made Easy. Today we're going to learn how to make spiral cookies. These are a great cookie for a party because you can do the spirals in a variety of colours and they look really festive and great on a plate. They're quite easy to make and you don't require many ingredients. To make them, you're going to need butter, plain flour, sugar, baking powder, vanilla essence, an egg, and you'll also need whatever food colouring you're going to use. You'll also need some additional equipment. So you're going to need some measuring spoons, you'll need a rolling pin, and you'll need some baking paper. And if you have a thermomat, this is a great recipe to use it in. And you'll also want an additional bowl and a whisk. So to begin with, we're going to make caster sugar. We're going to put 250 grams of sugar in the bowl and mix it at speed 2 for 9 seconds. So I set my scales and I'm going to weigh in 250 grams of sugar. I'm now going to make it into caster sugar by mixing it for 2 seconds on speed 9. Next, I'm going to add in 350 grams of butter. I'm going to cream the butter and the sugar together by mixing them on speed 4 for about between 20 to 60 seconds. I'll keep an eye through the hole just to check to see when it's done. Now I've had my butter setting out, so it's going to be softened. You want the butter to be at room temperature and then it will cream together a bit faster. I set the scales and I'm going to add 350 grams of the butter. Now I'm going to cream the butter and the sugar together at speed 4 until they're nice and fluffy and light coloured. The butter and the sugar has finished creaming together and it's turned a beautiful light colour. You can see that it's gone light and fluffy inside the bowl. I'm now going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla and 1 egg and I'm going to mix it for 10 seconds at speed 4. 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and 1 egg. I now mix it together for 10 seconds on speed 4. I'm now going to add 400 grams of flour and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Now the way that I'm going to do this is I'm actually going to put it into a bowl and then pour it through the hole so it gently and slowly mixes in. So what I do is I set the bowl on top and I'm going to now weigh in the 400 grams of flour. Next I'm going to add in 1 teaspoon of baking powder. I'm going to use my whisk now and I'm going to stir it up. This is going to break up any flour clumps and make the flour fluffy. Now I'm going to set the speed to speed 4, and I'm going to slowly and gradually pour the flour through the hole so it mixes together. Now that my dough is made, what I'll need to do is separate it into 2 parts. One part I'm going to leave plain, so it's the white colour, and the other part I'm going to add the green food dye to. You can choose any combination of colours to make your cookies, or if you wanted to, you could even add some cocoa powder to make them a chocolate spiral cookie as well. I've cleared a surface because what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to roll out the dough into 2 sections and then put them in the fridge to chill. So to begin with, I'm going to do the plain coloured one first. I've got my Thermomat down as it helps keep the baking paper from sliding around. And I'm going to begin by putting some baking paper down, putting the dough on, putting another layer of baking paper on top, and then rolling it out smoothly. I'm going to put half the dough out to begin with, and the other half I'll then add the food dye to. Now I'm going to put a second layer of baking paper on top and roll it out flat. I've now finished rolling out my plain dough and I've made it into a fairly even rectangle shape. I'm going to lay this flat in the fridge for about an hour for it to chill, and then once it's been resting for an hour, I'll bring it back out. I've now got the other half of the dough inside this bowl. I'm going to add some green food colouring, and you can add any colouring you want to make your spiral cookies. I'm going to stir it together, and then I'm going to do the same as I did before. I'm going to roll it out into a rectangle on some baking paper and put it in the fridge to chill for an hour. My green dough has now been mixed and I've rolled it into a rectangle the same size as the white dough. I'm now going to put this in the fridge to chill for an hour as well. The dough has been chilling in the fridge for about an hour, so I've now taken it out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place the white dough on top of the green dough, and I'm then going to gently roll it into a log. We'll then put that log back into the fridge to chill for another hour, and we can then slice it up to make our spiral cookies. So we're going to place our 2 doughs on top of each other and roll them up. So we gently peel off the top. If there are any cracks in the dough, just sort of press them together gently. We're now going to put the white dough on top of the green dough. Gently smooth and press the 2 doughs together using your hands. And now we're going to gently peel the baking paper off. By pulling it straight back rather than up, it helps it to unpeel more smoothly. Now we need to roll it into a log. You can use the baking paper to help you have a tight roll. Once you've rolled it into a log, we're then going to roll it back up into the baking paper and put it back in the fridge to chill for another hour. As you can see, as I'm cutting the dough, it's forming these beautiful spiral shapes. Sometimes you do need to sort of pinch them a bit because there may be small gaps. But just pinch it together like that and set it down. Once you take the cookies out of the oven, you can cool them on a wire rack and then they're ready to eat. You can also freeze the cookies after they've been baked as well, and they can last for up to 2 to 3 months in the freezer. I hope you found this video useful, and if you have, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and like us on Facebook. I'm Jill, and you're watching ThermoHow, Thermomixing made easy.
Oh, we'd ought to bake a sunshine cake. It really isn't so hard to make.
How?
Fresh tears, a pound or two of pleasure.